guess I'll
Hello,
just have to do.
welcome to the Form Thread Podcast. I am your host, Mr. Fusion. Tonight we have Mr. iWest,
Hey.
Ms. Ray Golden,
Hello.
and of course Chaos Mana. Woo! And we have joining us this evening Mr. Page Man. How are you, Pageman?
I'm going very nice today.
And I don't know if I said it or not because I was doing my, lounge voice. I'm Mr. Fusion. Lady and gentlemen, it's good to have you aboard tonight. And I think the number one topic we should probably start on, because this is a podcast that originated via Rooster Teeth. Anybody catch the Ruby premiere?
Heck yeah.
Of course.
That was a really interesting way. I'm really glad on how fluid a lot of it looked. Every now and then, like on some talking parts, it was a bit choppy with the animation, like, kind of...
The cookies.
Yeah, oh yeah, they just didn't
cookies
try
just
with the cookies. They did it on that way on purpose.
I think there were some
I think you
moments
mean
where it looked a little overly cell-shaded to me. Like, it was not consistent. I don't want to be overly critical. I'll go ahead and throw my sense in. I think Dark One Dry and I, when the Yellow trailer came out, I think the kind of consensus on that podcast that weekend was that we were a little disappointed in the voice acting and the way the style of the trailers were kind of leading us to a big what's going on. But I was pleasantly surprised with the first episode. I really enjoyed it. Like you guys said, there's some choppy moments to it, and my thing was, I will admit this, the voice acting, the mixing of it was much better than the trailers, much better. The job they did sounded much better. And also the only thing I noticed was, like I said, there were some moments where the cell shading looked a little like thicker than other moments, if that makes sense. That was pretty much the only thing I thought that I didn't really like, so that's
What really caught my eye about it, and this always... I hate that they use the color red as a main thing, because for some reason that color just doesn't translate well when it doesn't have like a true outline. Like the guys' ties, like the bad guys, their ties. If it doesn't have like the outline, it looks very digitized on the edges of it, and it's only with the color red, and it drives me insane.
I like red.
Well,
I'm
that's just your opinion, I
I'm
guess.
hoping, just because of how he appeared and how he looks, I'm wondering if that guy that was in the Yellow trailer will be in the,
I think he was killed.
Well, no, if you listen, he's like,
No,
like the sort of
Yeah, she
knocked
just beat the
out
living
thing.
shit out of him.
He got beaten up, but he could still be there.
I mean, he's basically just kind of bazooka minion now, isn't he?
Well, he was a boss.
Yeah.
True.
I reckon he was cool.
And
He could have been a mini boss.
If you remember what she said about him, he's like one of the people that know everything, so he might be a little bit more important to the story.
He's a snitch.
About him like that.
I'll be back in an undetermined amount of time.
All right.
Okay, I'm gonna offer my opinion on it. To me, out of the 4 trailers for Ruby, I have to say my least favorite probably was the black one. I'm just saying. The voice acting for that just, like, I know that was starting off, but it just didn't click with me. I reckon the voice acting for the Yellow trailer was actually quite good, Fusion. I don't know what you're going on about.
Now that re-listening to it, I think it's pretty nice. I pretty much, seen them over and over. I like watching the Yellow one. I thought that was a really good way of just kind of throwing it all together.
Mm-hmm.
Especially, like, Williams did another wonderful job with the music. I mean...
Casey?
Yeah, it's amazing. I love the soundtrack so far.
No, I will admit the music's been good in the... Yeah. I'm sorry, go ahead, Pageman.
Yeah, I got the song from the first episode. I cannot stop listening to it. It's just awesome. Like it's one of those.
The end credits were good. I will admit that. I really enjoyed those.
Yeah, and especially how in Yellow it does basically a dance remix version of like the 3 songs.
Mm-hmm. Well, Ray, you have any comment about this? Did you catch it?
I watched it with David. So yes.
And did you enjoy it, or?
Oh yeah. I still want to see what they're gonna do with it. I don't want to get my hopes up yet though on it. Because at first I wasn't too into it. I was very tired of all those trailers. It might have just been RT having to rewatch it over and over again. but I didn't really have high expectations. It's all right. They have my attention, but I'm not really like sold yet.
For me, I'm not saying I was like utterly disappointed by the yellow trailer. I just felt when we got to that point, it didn't seem very clear to me where they were headed with the story because, like, there was I think Dark and I both had this kind of, we were in unison in this. The trailers gave this opinion or this feeling that it was just going to be like a smash 'em up show, just nonstop wall-to-wall action and very little character driven story. But
It's
episode
definitely
1 was the
opposite
exact
note from
opposite
what
of
we've
that.
seen.
Yeah.
They had a nice combination of. I kind of like how well the technology and magic flows together.
Mhm.
I don't know whether this seems relevant, but it kind of reminds me, and I know it's like, it's not truly an anime, but like as Ruby is not truly an anime, it's like more 3D cell shaded stuff. But it reminded me, Ruby did more of, I'm gonna say Yu-Gi-Oh a bit.
Yu-Gi-Oh.
Like in the terms of like that's. Like, watching the first episode, that's kind of how it made me feel. Like, I was watching an episode of Yu-Gi-Oh!
Oh yeah, they definitely have that kind of soft, like, if you, especially on, like, the news show and all that, it has that sort of basic anime feel, and they all are calling forth these huge weapons. Obviously, they're not monsters, but if you look at it from a standpoint, I guess you can see that.
Yeah, I pulled up the original Ruby trailer to a mate of mine at school. He's never watched any Rooster Teeth content at all. Never seen like Red vs. Blue. And I showed him the initial Ruby trailer, and he said, "Oh my god, this is amazing. When is it coming out?" And like he's been hooked on it ever since.
Well, that's good, man, because that just
It's just like, yeah, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, I'm happy for the Rooster Teeth company as a whole because, Achievement Hunter, and I think we talked about this last week. It's great because at RTX, a lot of people were there that didn't really follow Red versus Blue because they found the Rooster Teeth guys Achievement Hunter through YouTube, and so it's like they're a media company. Like, legitly, they're not just a one-trick pony now. They have very popular venues from all sides, and like you said, your friend got caught on Ruby. I'm sure Monty was tweeting this week that guys, and apparently I follow Monty, but I don't send him a lot of messages, but apparently he's very interactive with his followers and on his email, and he said, "Sorry guys, I haven't gotten to you. I'll get to you, but I'm trying to mix in doing the show while my inboxes are completely full with your criticisms and your responses, and I appreciate it." So it's great, man, because they have different, like, Rooster Teeth has all these different sources of entertainment now, and I'm really happy for them. I really am, and like I said, I was maybe a bit overly critical of Ruby, but after the first episode, I'm definitely saying, okay, they've kept me aboard. I'm going to keep watching because this looks like it's not just a bunch of animation of action. They actually worked hard on the story, so I'm going to keep following it.
Even from the beginning, just seeing the action trailers, I never really thought that was going to be the only part of the story. But I also, the only thing that was actually going through my head, when I look at it, when I look back, is actually just, is this going to be the only sort of action? Are they basically spoiling it? And I don't know if the scenes are ever going to be similar, like if they're ever going to bring anything similar in or something like that. But yeah, it's.
So are you saying that basically the entire trailer was showing all the action, and that for the rest of the show they were just going to be sitting down and talking about their situation rather than actually fighting?
Yeah, it seems like that's one of the things that they could have been doing. Like, they're just ruining all the, because some commercials are really bad at doing that. Like, they show the best parts of the movie on the commercial. And I think in order for it to be a good trailer, they shouldn't do that.
Yeah, like the only game that I can think that truly the trailer that truly ruins like the movie for me. There's a lot. Like I remember explicitly there was one trailer that showed 80% of like the trailer was all within the last 20 minutes of the film, and it just ruined it. Like I seen it coming a mile away. It's like, oh, he betrays him. Oh, she's gonna get killed. Oh, this is where the dog dies. That's nice.
They like basically give you all the pivotal moments of the movie.
Yeah. Or
Yeah,
it's like, especially when it's like you're doing comedy films, so they give you all the funny jokes, and then there's nothing left when you watch the movie.
Oh yeah, especially
I
when
hope,
it's the
I hope the hell
funny
they don't do that
joke, and then
play
they
with-
just beat you over the head with each new commercial that comes out.
yeah, I hope they don't do that with. I hope they haven't done that with Clay with a Chance of Meatballs too.
Oh, they're making another
I actually
one?
want to see that film. Yeah.
I
Have
take
you
it
not
you
seen
were
the
a huge
trailer?
fan of the first one.
No, I don't. Is it on TV? Because I haven't been watching much actual television. I'm
What?
mostly on YouTube.
Yeah, I don't really watch
No,
TV
it's,
either.
you know, Clay. Lady with a Chance of Meatballs.
Oh yeah, I love that movie.
Have you not heard it? Yeah,
I haven't
they're
seen
making
it.
a
I
sequel.
haven't heard of a second one yet though.
I never
Oh,
saw
yeah,
the first.
it's I think they've shortened it now. They're calling it Cloudy 2 or something like that.
Yeah, because that's what they were calling the first one. After a while, it was just referred to as Cloudy.
They should just keep on going through different weathers, like mildly sunny with a slight chance of fog later in the day.
Heavy wind with a chance of meatballs. Well, now that you're talking about the trailers, that actually it's a good segue into talking about what we brought up before the podcast, which was the Walking Dead Season 4 Comic-Con trailer with 4 minutes of actual show footage. Paige, man, you really enjoyed what you saw in the trailer, right?
Hell yeah. To me, they're finally addressing the issue of the zombies, like fully. Like for the first 3 seasons, to me, they didn't focus on the zombies enough, like as a danger. Sorry, let me rephrase that. The first episode was, like they focused, like the first couple of episodes, they focused on zombies, they focused on the dangers, but they quickly learned how to how to fight them, and quickly learned how to kill them. And by the ending of season 3, it was just basically, like, for me, the final 6 episodes of Walking Dead season 3, you had them bitching and arguing for 6 episodes, saying, oh, we're going to kill you, no, we're going to kill you, well, we're going to come to the prison and murder you, and then they do it, and it's like a 20-minute gun battle, and then everyone's dead, and they've won, and they've brought the people back to the prison, and I've probably spoiled half the season for people who haven't seen it yet, but screw you if you haven't seen it.
Like me. Oh yeah, by the way, I'm back.
Welcome back.
Yeah.
No,
Anyway,
you know what?
they're finally addressing the issue.
I agree with you. What you were saying about the concept, and I think they actually talked about this at their panel at Comic-Con. People were not people, but the idea was the new showrunner said, we noticed that the zombies have become a solvable backdrop, and should not be the case and that happened towards the halfway point of season 2, and then the only relevancy they had in season 2 was when, spoiler alert, when Sophia is revealed to be a zombie, and also the final
run.
Yeah, the farm, and those were the only 2 moments of season 2 that they showed that we're in a zombie apocalypse. But other than that, from the halfway point of 2 all the way through 3, they're a solvable threat at this point. So there's no real concern, which
I mean, hell,
should be the case.
Yeah, the only time I actually felt like in season 2 when the zombies were coming onto the farm, hell, even Herschel's unlimited shotgun cheat code couldn't save the farm. So, no, but there's a scene in the trailer which I think finally represents it. Like, was I the only one that when they walked inside the prison and had a look at the courtyard, I looked at those fences and I thought to myself, yeah, they're not going to hold for much longer. And in this trailer, they've addressed that issue. There's a section there where there's just a horde, like 100 or so zombies just pressing on the gate. And there's a scene there with Glenn and Rick and Daryl and everyone just pushing it just to try and stop the gate, the fence for the prison falling over. And I thought, yes, finally they're addressing the zombies as an actual threat. Like, it's like they sit down. Like one thing that I love about zombie films is that in the lore about them is that, no matter, and Resident Evil said this in the third film, I think it was, no matter where you stay, if you stay in one spot for too long, okay, you stay there, they will come, and they will not stop. Like, that's one thing, they won't stop. There's no way to stop them once they start coming. One starts moaning, an hour away, one might hear that moan, start walking towards that moan. They addressed it in World War Z. Is that no matter, once one zombie knows you're there, all the zombies know you're there, no matter what. And so I think finally they probably attracted half of the North American horde to their one location. And so they're probably
you're
all gonna
right.
get, like, I reckon.
If you have, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I reckon that by the end of the season, they're obviously going to be out of the prison. There's no doubt about that, because it's just going to become impossible to live there if the zombies are constantly beating against the gates, unless they build, they should have spent more time bitching in season 3 and more time building actual defenses against the zombies, because they're gonna get overrun. It happens all the time.
This sounds like
if you've read I don't know if you guys have read the comics, and I won't give away too much of the content of the comics except for what's aired on the television show, but they spend a long time at the prison in the comic because they develop a farm, they fortify it. So what it looks like, some of the stuff that's going to happen in season 4 should have happened when they first moved into the prison. I think they just were too busy shoving in Woodbury and shoving in the whole Andrea and the governor, which I think kind of killed the momentum of season 4. Was I liked I liked the character of the governor in the TV show. Don't get me wrong, it was great, but I think they relied too much on wussifying Andrea during that whole story.
And I reckon that also as well, they tried to. I'm going to say this right now and possibly get a lot of hate for it, but aside from leading up to the beginning, halfway through point, aside from killing the army troops in episode 3, spoilers, I actually wouldn't mind having being led underneath the governor, to be honest. I wouldn't have minded him. The only thing is, he goes batshit crazy after the halfway point of the season. He just loses his mind completely. Before that, I would have actually followed him.
If the zombie apocalypse happens, I'm just gonna jump into the zombies. I don't trust myself to survive.
Well.
Oh my god.
You say that now. What happens when it actually happens?
I'm not athletic, so they're gonna get me anyway. So why not just get it over on my own terms?
Wes, you have the technology.
Wes.
I have the
Wes,
technology.
okay, you think you're screwed. I can't run 100 meters without being almost out of breath and completely almost dead. But I do have one advantage on the. In a zombie apocalypse, I do have one advantage, and that is the fact that I live in a solitary farmhouse. So and it's on top of a hills too. So there's 3 sides where there's cliffs that I can abseil down or just walk down. But I know for a fact that if it was zombies, they could never get up there.
Yeah,
I live in a very prime location.
Decent sized city in Tennessee, so
just
it's
flood the streets of Australia.
No,
I live in Texas where we have big guns. We're gonna take care of our zombies in Texas.
I don't have guns here, but I probably have 5 or 6 axes that we use. Because that's one thing that's awesome about the location. Because there's 2 things that are good about my location, is that I live on tank water, so no need to worry about that. And I also have my own power, so even if the power goes out, I can still talk on Skype to you guys in Apocalypse.
If the zombie apocalypse happened, the first place I'd go would be my office, because there are so many just random guns there, just in case something happens, just hidden.
You have random
I will say
guns
one thing,
in your office?
I have hidden guns all over the place. You don't want to mess with that.
But what about the ammo?
Oh, there's plenty of ammo.
That's another thing I want to point out about Walking Dead. I think finally, in Season 4, they're going to start addressing the issue of, we're gonna have to start using more melees. I mean, we're not gonna have much ammunition left. Like,
Yeah.
I know they announced it a bit in Season 3, but then they suddenly had M16s, and, like, the governor had my personal favorite weapon of all time, like the F-88. That gun is awesome.
Well, let's not forget that they kept driving around a brand new, freshly polished Hyundai in every episode. A different color
the
one
cars
in every
always
episode.
have to be a spick and span.
Yeah, it still had the freaking
I like.
dealership lights on it.
It's funny. It's like
Yeah.
the.
I will
the
not like.
Walking
I
Dead
remember.
Wait, what?
I seen
Go
a
ahead.
meme on the internet. It's like two. It's like I seen a meme on the internet. It says like zombie apocalypse started in 2010. Drives 2013 Hyundai.
Hmm.
It's true.
Well, and you know what? Actually, I want to touch on this. This is really kind of interesting. We were talking about Comic-Con, and a lot of good shit's been coming out, apparently. And I think another big one is there is a picture on IO9, and I want to get your guys' opinion on this because The Man of Steel just came out, and Batman wrapped up last year, The Dark Knight Rises. Well, apparently Zack Snyder, the director of Man of Steel, is going forward with the Batman-Superman movie.
I can't wait for it.
Batman
together?
or Superman in a film? Really?
Yeah, seriously.
I understand that.
How would that work though?
At the
Because
panel today, they
obviously
showed a
one is
picture.
so much stronger than the other. It's almost like a
They're gonna be working
slightly better
together.
human.
And the other one's Superman.
Like, what could Batman contribute? Not a whole lot.
Yeah, he's kind of
He's
pointless.
got an awesome belt.
He does have a point.
I mean, obviously, it's going to be like something's going to exploit Superman's weakness, like in a whole lot of different areas, like that I've seen a whole bunch. And then it's
Okay,
gonna
I
be
don't-
like only Batman is there, and then he's going to disable whatever's weakening Superman, and then
And then go back to being useless.
yeah, it's
Go
the
back to
one-
being
the
better
one
in his
thing-
own
one
space.
thing Batman gets to do.
Well, I think
I-
it's like the comic. The comic is where Batman is such a detective that he has dossiers on both his enemies and his partners or his friends in the Justice League, and he knows all of their strengths and weaknesses, and he's got contingency plans lined up in case Superman just loses his mind and decides to just fucking kill everybody. He's got everything ready to go. So I don't know how they're going to do it in the movie. I think it's probably going to be, I don't know.
They have to do it
When I think about
carefully,
it,
or
it's
else it's just going to be a very awkward and strange movie.
It's probably gonna be like something like where
Yeah, it's,
Batman's gonna be like the brains of it, and Superman's actually gonna do the punching.
He'll get on. He'll
Nah,
get
it's
on
like,
Batman.
no, it's
Batman
probably
will
gonna
get
end
on
out-
Superman's shoulders.
It'll be like the puppy
no, it's
going
probably
for
gonna
a
end
run.
about like who watches How It Should Have Ended? On
No,
like
I
YouTube and
haven't.
stuff like that.
I've seen a couple of them. I've seen the Iron Man and the Batman one.
Yeah.
I think it's the Dark Knight one and Thor.
Which Iron Man?
There's
did
a
they-
scene in there where it's
Which one?
like there's a few of them where it's just Superman and Batman chilling out at like a cafe.
Mm-hmm.
That would be the entire movie, just them bitching about it. It's like, dude, I'm Superman. I pull falling planes out of the sky every other week, and then Batman's sitting there, he's just like, I'm Batman.
like the
I
like
can't do
the
that.
button
Sorry.
scene after the credits of the Avengers, where they're just at that
Yeah.
little like coffee
Yeah, it's just
shop.
them
or
sitting
whatever.
at a diner.
Oh, they're eating shawarma. The Easter egg at the end, the shawarma.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's pretty funny. Did you know that apparently shawarma sales tripled after that movie?
they really, I didn't know that was a real thing actually.
Shawarma, yeah, and it's actually good. It's not bad. But there was after I watched it, one of my coworkers, an attorney at my office, was like, "Hey, you want to go get some shawarma?" And I'm like, "You watched the Avengers this weekend, didn't you?" He's like, "Yeah, and I've never tried shawarma. Is it any good?" I'm like, "It's not bad." And I remember reading something on I think comicbookmovie.com about how they said that a lot of these businesses were doing research. Apparently, after the movie, the first weekend, these little shops, these shawarma shops all over the country, like sales tripled
Oh god.
because of Robert Downey Jr. bringing up shawarma.
See, it's
I will say,
I live in a place.
okay, Avengers has done. Avengers has done for shawarma
Robert
what.
Downey Jr. to say Rooster Teeth.
Dude, there would be like
Nah,
10 million
he was
users all
too
of a
busy.
sudden.
He was too. Yeah, he's like too busy bringing a jet to a gunfight.
Yeah. What were you saying, Page
Please get
Man,
the
about
reference.
shawarma?
Okay, Avengers done for shawarma what Zombieland did for Twinkies.
You're right.
True that.
I don't
And
know,
the fact that
Twinkies.
they shut down Twinkies is what increased interest in them.
You know, I bet the closest shawarma
They shut
place
down
is like
Twinkies?
an hour and a half
You
away.
You
Well,
haven't
here in the
heard about
U.S.,
that?
you didn't hear about that last year. Hostess completely shut down, and they went out of business, and they stopped making Twinkies. And I think there was a giant run, and everyone bought the stock. And I think
Yeah.
last week, Walmart. I think Walmart is the company that I don't know who owns them now, but they purchased the recipe, and they're making Twinkies now.
That's
think they-
hilarious. All this
Tallahassee would be
overreaction.
happy.
I saw some
but,
commercial for it where it was like a gourmet treat now, and I'm like, it's a Twinkie. It's a fucking Twinkie.
That thing's not. That's not healthy at all.
It's like down here in Australia. It's like they suddenly got rid of Tim Tams. If that would happen, everyone would be up in a rage about it.
I don't even know what a Tim Tam is.
Do they have any Jaffa
Get
cakes
out.
down there, out of curiosity? Because I remember they were found once.
And what?
Jaffa cake. I don't even know if you know what that
That's
is.
British, dude.
Yeah, I know it's British, but
I
they,
know what,
they
I've
said
heard
they
of
got
what
it
a
down
Jaffa
to
cake is. I
Australia.
know. Yeah, I know because I know what a Jaffa cake is because I used to watch the Yogscast
Mhm.
years ago,
That's
and
what I
they
asked.
were on about Jaffa cakes and shit. But no, we got you just look it up. I think it's just Tim Tams. By the way, I think we lost Ray.
No, well,
What?
for a
She's
second,
still-
I'm back now.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
I
crazy.
don't know. Hey,
Speaking of Australia, guess who's here at the moment?
Oh yeah.
You.
Is there? Okay, I'm just gonna. Is Jack there?
Yeah,
Because
Bernie,
he's usually
Jack,
there.
and Gus are down in Australia at the moment, and I'm not
You
going to
should
be
go,
able to
like-
see them.
Find them. Oh, I think we're
Oh yeah, I
losing.
like how he's never. He's like there was this like long string of him never getting to go to Australia, and then
He's
now
there
he's
like
gone
every
like
week.
multiple
He's
times.
there in twice in 1 year. Well, I think that's I think he went there under his own money this time, and I think the main reason because of that was, he has a Australian girlfriend at the moment, Katie. I think,
Oh, yeah.
Katie.
Yeah.
hmm
I think that's one of the contributing factors of why he's constantly coming back to Australia.
Wait, is that
But
his
yeah, they're all in
girlfriend, or-
Australia, and yeah, it's his girlfriend. I remember reading it on Twitter, I think. But yeah, one of the things I'm just trying to the sad thing is, like, they're in Australia. I'm not going to be anywhere near them.
How many miles?
By the
away
way,
are they?
we lost.
Yeah, I realized
or
that.
Sorry?
kilometers or whatever. If you go, I'm not sure. I don't remember.
So to
Yeah.
everyone watching,
Well,
we
you
lost
see, I'm
your fusion. I'm gonna try to invite him again. Oh well.
we don't need.
one of the sad things about it is that the fact that I live halfway across the other side of the country, and even though they've gone across the entire Pacific Ocean, I can't make it down to them. And the main reason being is that I've got my exams for I'm in my final year of school. I've got my exams coming up in 2 weeks. I can't take this distraction, and I'm really upset too because
Yeah.
to me, Bernie's my favorite employee.
Oh no, Gavin's pretty
out
awesome.
of all the employees at Rooster Teeth. I know, but I don't know. Bernie was the one that started it all, so
Yeah, I
he's
really like
personally my
Bernie,
favorite.
but it definitely like Gavin and Jack
Ray
are
is-
my favorites.
Ray is probably top 3 for me.
Yeah,
Somewhere.
Ray as well.
Brian. Ryan's the best. Ryan. Sorry, I just love Ryan.
Free Edgar 2013.
That's okay. Rip Edgar 2013.
Silly fusion.
Have you not
crashing
seen
his
the latest
internet.
Minecraft
Fusion,
Let's Play?
his internet crashed.
The message popped up on the stream.
So we're gonna have to go on without him.
Oh no. Well, he can join. He can just pop back in.
Audacity might still be recording. If it is, then he can still join back.
Yeah, sure. He's not gonna be silly not to stop it. It's just
Yeah.
the internet.
You never know with him. You never know. That
Yeah,
crazy
I
fusion.
think Mr. Oh yeah, he said he was gonna do. He might get back into audioing. Whenever
yeah.
he's back here, I'll ask him about that.
So speaking of the personal stuff, woe is me. I can't move.
Why?
Chaos. Is what I was talking about yesterday with the my back.
Oh.
Oh gosh.
How did you not know that happened when it happened?
What? No, wait. Hold on. Was your shirt cut? Wait, did you have no shirt when he was showing off the knife?
It's
No,
alive!
I had a shirt on.
Then how did
I
he
did have
cut
a
you? Through
Oh
your
my
shirt?
God.
Is there a tear there now?
Yes, there is. I had to throw away the shirt.
Good gosh.
How'd you not feel it when it happened?
Oh yeah. So Wes, explain what happened in its entirety.
So
Yeah,
you
can you
know,
explain, like, did you get attacked by a T-Rex or something?
my
Yes.
my head of security or whatever. He's awesome. He's a big dude. We talked about him before, I think. He likes to randomly put me in dangerous situations. So this most recent time, he put me in a headlock. Was he yesterday? I can't remember. But yeah, and he was holding his knife to my head, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm stronger than you." And then he was going to put his knife away, but when he was doing it, he cut my back, and I didn't realize it until I started swimming like 10 minutes later. And so yeah, it's
And it's
not
like you were
fun.
swimming in a sea of red.
I was swimming, and all of a sudden it started getting red, and yeah,
Did you say? What did you do when you saw the red though?
I kind of screamed and ran out of the pool.
Like a little
Like, your
girl.
initial reaction was shock.
I did.
It's like, even though you're swimming in a local swimming pool, your initial reaction is shock!
Yeah, exactly.
No, it's like I realized what it was.
It got
I
displaced there
screamed
by
and ran
Sharknado.
away. Sharknado 2 is coming out if you haven't seen that trailer.
Wait, they're making the second one? I haven't seen the first one.
It's
It
going to
went
be
viral. Yeah.
it's going to be in like Los Angeles or New York. The one it wasn't in out of those two cities.
And I am back.
Yeah. Welcome back.
Fusion going and crashing your internet.
My internet's just crashed. I think it was because I was making bad comments about Twinkies or something. Somebody at Comcast, but yeah. So I just came in the middle of Wes telling a story of him getting shivved by his head of security. So.
Well, to be fair, he did take me to the doctor and paid for everything. So
Well,
he
I
felt
would
really
hope so.
bad.
It's like, yeah, I will give you all, like, I'll pay for all your medical bills, just don't get me fired.
Well, I can't fire him. He's one
Pretty
of
much.
he's one of the 3 special cases in my company that it takes a lot for him to get fired. It's kind of like a tenure system, but it's different in a way.
And you
It
have.
makes sense to
I'm
us.
just kind of curious. You have the resources to pay him as head of security, or okay? I just didn't know. I know you said things were a bit
No,
of
he's
an
just
upstart.
sits there, and as every employee he goes out on their way, he's just like, punch!
Actually, now
It's
that
like,
you
give me a
remind
lunch
me of
money.
that, he's kind of under a trade kind of thing going on, to where instead of me paying him, he can live in my house for free.
Ah.
I don't.
Wait, he lives with you?
Yeah, we were by the pool whenever the
Wow,
the knife.
You live under
incident
the
happened.
same roof as the guy that got, like, stabbed you.
I know it's very interesting, huh?
Wow.
Every person living in my house except for one dude, they work for me. So, you know,
Wow. Little intro you got here.
I'm a bit curious though. Do you have any games that are forthcoming?
we have one. I don't know when it's going to be released, but it's getting along now.
Mm-hmm.
It's finally getting into some more serious conversations.
And eventually, once you get
So,
the smoke clears up and all that stuff, you'll come on the podcast and do a little promotion for free and stuff, and all that good stuff. But because eventually, if you explode, your company explodes, and you get purchased by a company like 343 or Activision, you're gonna remember us small people.
I hope I get bought. I hope 343 or something
just,
buys me.
Wes,
I don't
I
want
think
to be
you,
CEO.
I think you just need to listen to, like, I think you need to just make sure or something, is that whenever you're making a game, don't, for the love of God, don't make an ending like Mass Effect 3. I finished that game yesterday.
No, we have like...
Seriously.
It's funny because we started this game that's been in development for however long. Like when we were in high school was when we first wrote down the idea for it. and it's so interesting to see. Go back and look at my friend's old school workbook, who's now my COO, and like look in it and see how different it is from when we started to where it is now.
Wait, did any of you, just speaking of people making video games, have any of you guys heard about that community project where they're trying to make a Ruby video game?
No,
I have not.
But I was thinking that what I would think, you know,
It was on Community Spotlight about a week or two ago. I'll try and find it.
What type of game would it be? Would it be like a basic fighter game where you just press A, B?
They're
and you have
making
a
it
control
kind of
stick?
Super Smash Bros. Kind of.
Yeah, kind of like that then.
that'd be
what they-
interesting.
That'd be if they made it look
trying to
like
make
Super
more-
Smash Bros. That would be the best game ever.
And then I realized something. I was sitting down yesterday because I got Left 4 Dead 2 on the Steam sale, and I was sitting down, and then I've downloaded all these characters. So like my Left 4 Dead squad now consists of Lee Everett as coach, Daryl Dixon as Ellis, Merle Dixon as Nick, and some chick out of the Evil Dead film as Rochelle, because anything's better than Rochelle.
Mhm.
And true, but and then I sat down the other day, and I have a journal about this. I posted it on my profile if you guys want to look at it later on. But Ruby, like, there's 4 main characters in Ruby: red, white, black, yellow, usual. I realized someone could make a 3D model if Monty could give out the 3D model for Ruby and like her, like red, white, black, and all that. Someone could edit those, and they could make and like have the Ruby cast play a Let's Play of Left 4 Dead as the Ruby characters.
That would be interesting.
Yeah,
How
'cause
would
I made a
how
journal
would
about
that
this.
look,
I
though?
thought,
You
oh
mean
my,
like manipulate it to that would be
just like, you know, the Velociraptors mod that they done a video on a few months back. Where they showed the
maybe.
Left 4 Dead characters as they showed the Left 4 Dead characters as Velociraptors. It's basically the same thing. All you're doing is changing the skin of the characters and putting a new skin over the top of it, and then you could have, say, Lindsay and
Oh,
Barbara,
you mean they would make
and
actual Ruby
Kara,
models in the
dude.
video game itself?
yeah,
And that'd be pretty
in the video game
sweet.
itself.
I know about that sort of thing. That would be really interesting if you got that to work.
Yeah, and like I'm like trying to find someone who can do that, because that would be one of the most awesome things ever. Aside from them bringing back the Rooster Teeth DayZ server,
What happened
which
to that?
I am unfortunately.
Why did they shut
Adam
those
just,
down?
I think
well,
Adam was having
brought the
issues.
servers. Yeah, Adam had issues with DOS attacks and like hackers and that on the original server, so he shut that down.
So
But then at the
stupid.
beginning of this year, was it this year? I think. Yeah, at the beginning of this year, he brought the server back, but then took it away because it wasn't getting enough popularity. Like, it was a 50-person server, and at its maximum, it probably only had like 25, 27-ish people.
To be
that
fair,
were
that's like a
attending
lot of work
the
for
game
him
at
to
the time.
upkeep, along with
Yeah.
the website that has been going through problems.
Yeah, the fact that like this site went down a week ago, like Adam has to be. He must be in the top like 5 people that do the most work at RT.
Easily, I mean,
Like, he has to be the business.
and he's really good
Yeah,
at
I
talking
do
to
miss the Rooster
public
Teeth. Yeah,
too.
I like the episode. I like that RT Life where he sticks his dog in the cage with Ray. That was kind of cool.
Yeah,
No, but I do miss having the Rooster Teeth server. But yeah, that might change. They might bring the server back. Hopefully, when the standalone gets released. I hope.
I think they were
Because that
considering
would just
it
be
if
awesome.
it's still in a server system.
Yeah. Well, I
I've
think it
never-
will be because I think that's how it gets funded. They buy the servers and then rent them out to people or something like that. So maybe,
Yeah, but that's because that-
maybe that happens.
Oh, we're being invaded by aliens.
Hey.
guys.
Hey.
Hey, we're losing you.
all your base are belong to you.
Wait, what? What's happening?
You have terrible feedback.
You got background noise, right?
What?
But no, it's just yeah. Also, did any of you see the new footage of the DayZ standalone from
No,
E3?
No, did not.
Oh wow, they're making
They
a separate
run
game entirely.
inside
That's
now.
neat.
The zombies run inside. They can run inside buildings, which is going to be a pain in the ass. Was anyone here who hears Fusion? I know you've said you've played the mod. Who else here has played the mod?
I've not, but I've seen a lot of
I've
gameplay.
only seen gameplay of it.
Okay, well, Fusion, you'd know this. Whenever you're playing DayZ, there's always that section like in town where you turn around a corner. Like I've walked through the middle of Electro, which is the second biggest city in the game, and I'm walking through the middle of the town, and there wouldn't be a single zombie. It would be completely dead, empty.
Mm-hmm.
I'd walk around one corner, there'd be 50 zombies huddled around the corpse of one guy who was just unfortunate enough to get probably shaned. Yeah, he probably got shaned by his best friends. We're gonna stick together, man, and he's like, nope, bang. Because that happened. It actually happens a lot in DayZ. You'd meet someone, and then you'd meet one fucking zombie, and they'd be like, bang, and you're shaned. It's
No, you're
one
right.
zombie.
I just feel that game had probably the quickest hype that it probably could have. It was you heard about it for a month, and then all of a sudden this is the first time I've heard about it in weeks.
Well, the reason
played
why is, and I'll tell you why, is because it got really popular. The concept behind it and the psychology behind it really is what gets you. It's not the actual gameplay. With the mod, dealing with the backpack, and they tried to work out some of these bugs the past 6 months or whatever. But the bugs, the backpacking
Yeah, I can
and
tell
all
there's
that.
a lot of glitches in the gameplay
Yeah.
itself.
Well, and he's right about that. That the zombies were very inconsistent. A town would be completely empty, and you would be I'm walking, so there's no zombies around. You're walking, and then boom, one spawns right in front of you, and you're like, shit, and you don't know if you should lay down or run. And the problem with that is, if you lay down, it's like a 3-step process to lay down and get up. You're like, well, fuck, do I run? Do I lay down? What do I do? And you're just kind of fucked at that point. And then they just spawn everything.
And then once me and a few others have played the mod for a considerable amount of time. It's been going on almost a year now that I've been playing this mod, and we had the RT DayZ group, and we actually got above there's the basic map Cherno. There's 3 layers of Cherno, and the bottom layer is the south coast. There is people spawning everywhere, left, right, center. It's the busiest part. Bandits go down there just to pick off innocent people, to have fun. It's basically a free-for-all zone. Then you've got the middle section, and that probably is Starry and all that. That is where people that somehow make it past the first section can get up and get the gear to properly survive. And then you've got the final section, which is the North Airfield, the Northeast Airfield, the Northwest Airfield, Berenzino, and basically all the foresty areas.
Yeah.
That's where anyone who has got a major group goes. And we were on a server, a private hive, that unfortunately is down now, for some unknown reason. And yeah, it's unfortunate. We, as in, the admin Radius 55?
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
he's been on the podcast.
Yeah. Radius and me, we both got this camp started. And then we had others like Corey the Great, and Mr. Deli, and we had all these others, and we actually got a camp set up where we got to that stage in DayZ where the zombies, I'm gonna say this, it kind of got it got really Walking-esque season freestyle, where we could learn to fight the zombies, and we could learn to outmaneuver the zombies. But then other survivors became the issue, and we actually found out that after our camp got raided one time, we lost 2 trucks and all of our heavy weaponry.
Wow.
We lost a satchel charge, which was the big thing because we were going to do things to do in DayZ. Because I was going to record it, but we lost a satchel charge. Yeah, we lost all these supplies, and then we got into that section. We got to that stage where we realized, oh shit, someone's stealing our supplies. We can like, because we had water bottles, we had hatchets and matches, and we could hunt animals. The only reason we needed to go back into any major cities was to get medical supplies like morphine and blood bags. And so we realized, shit, someone's stealing our shit. What do we do? And we actually found out there was another group, because we called ourselves RT, and then we had our normal game names, and so we were kind of like a clan. We discovered another clan on the server called the SR or SS or whatever their name was. I forget what it is now. But we discovered that they had initially raided our camp, and that they were basically, and we found this out pretty quickly because they started using side chat randomly, is that they were a group of 10-year-olds. And so me and Radius are sitting there, and we're like, shit, what do we do? And so it kind of ended up, like, we met some other friendly guys that were around our area, and so we teamed up with them, and I'd say for 2 weeks there was a straight-on, like, kind of taking pot shots at each other. We were taking pot shots. I got into a pretty heavy gunfight on my own once with the guys that were around, the local friendlies that were around our camp. We got into a gunfight with some people who were trying to steal our trucks, and we ended up accidentally blowing up our trucks in the process, trying to save them. But it was the most hectic thing because they pulled in and like someone started pulling out. They pulled out their automatic rifles, and there was automatic gunfire, and then like we're shooting. And this was back when I just found this the M249 fusion. You know how rare that is?
Yeah,
yeah,
very rare.
So very rare. So I found that, and I took a ghillie suit, and even though I was a hero, because I'm going to say it right now, Daisy, I'm always a hero. Anyway, we got into this gunfight. And I'm sitting there, and I'm like, Fusion, you would know this. The one defining factor about DayZ, whenever you hear a gunshot, you get scared, don't you?
Oh yeah. Yeah. No, you're right, because you don't know if they're shooting at you, because half the time if it's a delayed reaction because there's a bit of a delay. Let's say they're sniping you from the woods, unless there's a sound effect where it buzzes by you, where it's like you hear the gunshot, you're like, fuck, is someone trying to mow me down? And the first thing you do is you lay down or you take cover, and then the next thing you do is you scan the area around you to look to see if anybody's running, like if a bandit is trying to take out someone else. And yeah, you're right, that's the one thing, is it can be dead quiet, and then all of a sudden you hear a gunshot and you freak out. I agree.
Yeah, because that's what happened with these guys. They freaked the fuck out because we knew they'd stolen one of our trucks, a Ural, I think it was, the big like semi trailer kind of cut tarp in the back and all that stuff. And so they're driving along, and me and another guy who was in the server, I think his name was Marvin, we actually set up a ambush kind of thing. He put a tank trap in the middle of the road and had to make them go up this embankment. And so they were halfway up the embankment. I'm sitting there with the M240, and you see, I didn't even need to hit any of them because Marvin was the one that was hitting them. I just had to make him hit the deck. Wow. And so I just, because I'd been carrying around this M249 for going on a month or two now, and I thought I may as well use it. I had 600 rounds of ammunition. I wasted it all on them.
Wow.
I did not stop. I just let it rip. And it took my humanity back down to like 7,000 because I had humanity up near like 11,000. I managed to kill 2 of them. 600 rounds for 2 bandits, and then Marvin got the rest of them. I felt like such a freaking god when I was firing that thing, and I would have freaked all of them out because we later found out, because eventually we settled the whole dispute where like we stopped fighting by trading. They basically, like, they gave up eventually and just gave us this peace offering by, like, dropping off the SUV at our base, which I immediately drove into some trees and busted the front wheels off. And, oh man, it was, like, the only other time I felt that much power in a game is when is when we got a helicopter finally, and we just went for runs on the airfields back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Oh man, what's? I just realized I've probably been rambling on for like 20 minutes.
No, that's great, but
It's
I mean,
better than what it was going to be.
yeah, exactly. No, that's the one thing about DayZ is that it's not necessarily the graphics or the actual mechanics of the game itself. It's like I said, the psychological, but it's also it generates interesting stories. And my only complaint I have is these small towns are a pain in the ass because most of the houses you can't walk into, and it's like you're spending half your time, on the ground trying to say, okay, which houses can I walk into or not?
Well, they fixed that with the standalone now. 90% of the buildings are enterable.
Good. I haven't been following the standalone, but that's great because I think that makes that makes running around and escaping a little easier and hiding and getting out of the cold because you run through a couple of these small towns and there are several of them where there's not a single house you can go into, so you're like, how can I warm up? I can't. At least you can go into these houses and kind of warm your body up a little bit in the cold weather.
How much bigger is the actual compared to the standalone? How much bigger or smaller or different is the map going to be that they're going to use?
I think they've extended the map for the standalone a little bit because they had to add in the island of Utaeus into the map as well, which is going to add a new dynamic because Fusion, that South Island Skaliski?
Yeah.
Or whatever it is. Yeah, that place okay, there are two places on the map you should never walk into if you're a fresh player or if you care for your gear at all. And that is the Northwest Airfield and that island, because that island is the spawn point for half the helicopters in that game, which means all the bandits are just going to be right there.
Mm-hmm.
But that was stopped on the server we were on because the admins for that server had decided, you know what, we're going to put NPCs on there, and so there was about 60 or so NPCs with auto aim, and it would take an entire server of people to clear out that entire island.
Oh gosh.
See,
Yeah,
I avoid Skalitsky Island because in the early stages, like you said, that became bandit heaven over there. That was just a really if you're spawning and you're on a server where you spawn without a weapon, not even a hatchet, you're like, screw this. It's not worth the trouble to go over there.
Yeah, and they've also released another update, which actually makes it, I was going on about how we kind of we got to the stage where we learned how to fight the zombies. They released an update where you have to basically relearn how to take out zombies again. Because they didn't double the health of the zombies, they took it up by ×6, unless it's a headshot. So they're almost unstoppable. Yeah. But another thing is,
Why would they do that? Why would they do that? I mean, they already seem like me and Ray were watching the a DayZ hardcore, and they got eliminated instantly. Why would they make the enemies impossible?
The zombies.
Yeah.
Well, because I guess they made it harder for people because anyone that still plays the mod these days is either. I don't think there's many new players. Anyone who is playing the game now is a basic DayZ veteran, or at least knows how to survive in that game to some degree. Because, how can I explain to this? There is one item in that game you need to carry on your body at all times, because this happened to me the other day. I spent half an hour walking through the forest and then just dropped dead. Fusion, you know how badly, whenever you start to cough in that game, you need antibiotics.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they
and
basically
you usually get the coughing if you take enough damage or if you spend too much time outside.
One hit from a zombie can do it now. One hit can do it from a zombie. Start
really?
making you cough. Yep.
See, I haven't played in a couple months. That's discouraging that it's one hit. Wow.
Well, no, there's still I actually kind of explained it wrong. There's still the normal zombies that you normally face, but now I think in 1 in every 3 zombies, it's called a viral one, where if it hits you, you're instantly infected. You'll need antibiotics no matter what.
Oh man!
And it'll start dropping off health. I actually tried to record the other day, and I got to this, like, I couldn't record my audio, so I actually ended up dropping the film, because if I was going to record audio, it would have been a constant whine of my sister in the background. But it was basically me running around for 30 minutes in Cherno after, like, I run into the Cherno supermarket, get hit by a zombie, and then for the next 30 minutes, I'm running around Cherno trying to find a packet of antibiotics because I'm slowly dying. And I ended up, I also took a bullet to the knee. I'm not even kidding. Like, I got shot and broke my leg at the hospital. So I had to get some morphine, and that took my blood down even further. And I ended up just going to, like, there was this new survivor who was a fresh spawn. He was like, don't kill me because I had a gun. He was like in the church, hiding in the corner. He's like, don't kill me. And I ended up just dropping everything I had. Said, take it, and ran out and just got killed by a zombie because I just couldn't survive. I just, so sad.
Well, you know, my biggest complaint on that game is the blood issue where you have to have a transfusion from another person. I think it doesn't. You don't. I don't think you necessarily have to be able to.
Oh, they've made that harder too now.
Have they really?
What?
Yep.
That sounds.
Are they
Standard,
trying to
like,
make it impossible for new people to want to join?
Yeah.
No, they're trying to make it. They're trying to make it realistic, and like
come
if
on.
I understand, David.
It's also a game. They need to keep that in mind. It's like
Yeah.
it's famous for
They
realism.
need to make it. They do
playable.
need to make it not so easy that it becomes boring after just a few playthroughs, but they need to make it so that you're not just thinking that you're not going to ever be able to do it and then just get hit over and over right when you start. Like, as soon as you run into the enemy, that's it. You have no hope of survival at all. You need to have some semblance of it. I mean, they shouldn't really try to make a game where they have something that isn't real so realistic that it's impossible.
Well, that's one of the things that like they've said in multiple reviews, and like some people have reviewed this game when it initially came out, back when you spawn with a gun, and said it was one of the best zombie experiences they've ever had. And now, a month ago, I remember a reviewer coming back to it and saying it's gotten to become one of the most the most unforgiving game out there. Like, it's more unforgiving than Dark Souls. That's how bad it is.
It's like people want realism in video games. Like, that's the biggest thing in like the
it's
video
like
game
boom,
industry.
there's a
It's
game.
like-
It's realistic.
It's like people want it to be as realistic as possible to an extent. It's like you reach the point where it's like you need to. This needs to remember that it's a game and not a. Not
Yeah,
real
that's
life.
one thing that, like,
Ray, they added a button in Minecraft where you have to press one button to breathe in, one button to breathe out.
Oh gosh.
Oh, fuck no.
And if you don't do that, then you'll lose health.
Oh no.
No, I remember they were talking about Minecraft. They were going to make torches eventually run out, and you would need to have those redstone lanterns.
No.
Oh no.
We torch things like crazy. If they did that, then that would be horrible. Because abandoned
More.
mine shafts would just torch out. I guess the only solution to that would be glowstone.
Yeah, that's what I meant, like glowstone and redstone lanterns and stuff like that. But back to the DayZ really quick, just one last thing. They're planning, I remember Dean, the guy, like Rocket, in charge of the development for DayZ, he said that there might be that stage where you'll have to actually go up to someone and say, like, because you'll find an empty blood bag, and you have to go up to another survivor and be like, okay, here, fill up this blood bag for me. I need a blood transfusion.
Huh.
They're trying to get that across as well now.
So
It
would
kind of
that
makes
mean
you-
that you would be more encouraged to not just shoot any other person you see?
Yeah, because that's one thing that they're also removing, and I'm glad for it, is that they're removing 80% of the military gear. No semi-automatic sniper rifles, no 50 caliber 5 kilometer away kill shots, which is I'm glad.
You know, that was a thing where the veterans would sign on and they would just look for the noobs and they would have their sniper rifles and they just take people out. And that's because they got bored with the aspect of surviving and trying to survive. They had like 4 fucking tents full of shit and they were so loaded that okay, at this point we could survive.
And that's kind of how Radius, Corey, and Deli, and me, like all the Rooster Teeth guys who played DayZ, that's how we kind of ended up. We kind of had this like camp that was stocked with AK-47s, M16s, and DMRs. We kind of had that at the end.
So what were you doing? Just did you turn into bandits at that point, or no?
No, actually, the primary focus of that group, like one of the primary focuses, was we were getting all these supplies so that if we could get enough people on, we could probably do a DayZ Let's Play or like a DayZ Community Let's Play, or and we actually had Fusion. You know those red hatchbacks?
Yeah.
Yeah, we had one of those. We were going to do a things to do in where you'd sit in the back and then troll people once they got in. And we also had this idea for like standard ideas. So like that's why we had so many AK-47s. Was we were going to get fresh players there, give them an AK-47 and a hunting knife and a packet of matches, and say, all right, the first one to be the one that has the most cooked meat or pork chop from animals in the surrounding vicinity within 30 minutes gets a awesome rifle or something.
Now that I get that actually makes sense because you're rewarding them with an objective. What I'm hoping for is, and I know people are going to think this is kind of crazy, but in DayZ, and we can eventually shift the topic because we have spent a long time on DayZ, but it's fun. But my thing is that like I think with the standalone, there should be a few. I'm not going to say like Uber cities, but there should be like maybe a couple of forts or bases.
Give away all the heavy weapons.
Well, no. What I think there should be is maybe you kind of like almost like a Fallout setup where you add not currency but something you can trade off some medicines and stuff. Where there's some like little forts or bases, and you could a trading post.
It's a non-PvP section.
Yeah. Exactly. And you can go there and you can save your character there, and the main thing is you can do that if you, let's say you stock up on cans of food. You can trade a couple of them for some antibiotics or for some morphine or blood pack or something. And there, if you have something, you can trade some goods for a blood transfusion. There's NPCs there, and it's a safe spot, and it doesn't have to be a huge place. And the thing is that there's maybe like a semi-server event where every now and then one of these bases gets attacked by a herd of zombies or something like that, and or NPC style bandits or something like that, to where it'll shake it up a little bit. And I don't want it to be a complete MMO like that, but at least it makes it a little more manageable in terms of what to do.
Yeah, the server that we had with the camp and all that, they had this thing where the admins, they built up the Electro schoolhouse, that big school building in the middle with all the clear area. They built up it. They actually spawned in their own vehicles and smashed them into the side so that people couldn't, like, as a makeshift barrier. And then on top of the zombies, they'd actually get these clans of people online, fly them up somewhere, give them a helicopter and a ton of guns, and say, okay, well, we're going to let you guys attack, and then they'll take anyone who volunteers into the school, give them an AK-47, all right, and say, we got to defend this building from not only the zombies, but the other players as well. And I got roped into one of those, and after a 2-hour gunfight, I ended up being the only one left alive. Because we all assigned each other jobs, and I volunteered to watch the staircase in case zombies or people came up. I wasted about 3 or 4 clips on zombies. No one came up the stairs. And then I'm suddenly doing I suddenly realized after I realized for a second the shooting stopped. I'm like, is anyone alive? Hello? And I run outside and I'm like, oh shit, I've exposed myself. And then I didn't get killed. So I thought, oh, the bandits have all been killed or moved on. And I've just been sitting here guarding the staircase for 3 hours. Shit. And so I thought to myself, okay, well, I'll just take this helicopter and leave. I got in a helicopter, I flew 5 feet, server reset.
Oh, man.
While I was flying.
Oh, so you lost everything.
Yeah. Well, no, I spawned back in on the ground, and I still have my AK-47 and
that's good. Well, I've heard stories of people in a chopper mid-server reset, and they've lost things. They've lost.
There was a problem. There was a major problem initially whenever a server would reset. Whenever a server would reset, whenever you log back in, if you were in a chopper, you'd just spawn in and just fall to your death. But they fixed that up now, so that if you're in a chopper when the server restarts, the chopper goes away, but when you spawn in, you start off with a parachute so that you don't die.
Speaking of popular deaths, I want to bring this up. Apparently, in a Let's Play that happened this week for Rooster Teeth. Yesterday, a very popular character on Minecraft met its fateful end. What happened with that? If you
haven't seen the newest Rooster Teeth Achievement Hunter in Minecraft Let's Play, go watch it and then spoil yourself here.
I will do that.
Yeah.
I will not do it right now.
Wait.
But
Wait, nobody move. Nobody move.
I'm moving.
Okay.
I'm moving.
Go.
I like to move
Okay.
it.
But yeah, Edgar.
Edgar the cow. No.
So after Michael's great,
Wasn't it like Gary at one point before?
after Michael's great breakout, Edgar was unintentionally slain by the displaced King Jeff.
No, I think that's still under debate.
No,
I don't
had
think
to
it happened.
that had to be it because it was wandering in the same location, and he
Yeah,
was
no, if
he
you
was
look
literally
carefully,
even
it's
if that
exact area
even if
Michael
that
left him.
specific cow wasn't it, like if you think about it, the AH guys are whoever's editing it. If it was JJ or whoever edited that specific Let's Play,
Gavin edits
they're scanning each of the screens. So the person obviously he noticed that Michael did that, so he would have been looking to see where.
I think Gavin actually edits the Minecraft.
The cow that was actually Edgar, then they would be like, "Oh, that's it." So I'm going to show that in the video.
You never know.
So
I
reckon
mean, if he
Edgar's...
bothered enough to put a timer on it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, because that was the Edgar freeing was a big deal.
Yeah, so he would have been trying to pay attention to what happened after it. I mean,
Yeah.
if it was such a big deal to him to put the timer on there, then it would have been a big deal to do the other
Wait,
thing.
just
I also
let me get
love
this
how
obituary.
I've never seen a cow try to go back to the same spot so many times.
Evan,
I wanted Michael to just leave it. Just let him go back home. He wanted to stay there. Edgar was happy. Ryan took good care of him.
No,
if he's gonna want to stay there, at least take him out of the
scarred
floor.
that he didn't know what to do outside.
He had Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah.
The cow was Stockholm.
No, guys. He just didn't want to leave the chicken alone.
That's true.
Okay.
I like how Michael left the chicken and got the sheep and the cow out. The poor chicken is still just chilling.
Well, my question to you is, how
Unfortunately,
much meat did Edgar yield? That's what I want to know.
I think he had like a piece of leather and some meat, if it was the same cow.
Oh, that's disappointing.
Well, unfortunately, Edgar, you were a good cow. You were well loved by the community. You will be laid to rest in the... I am sure you will be laid to rest in the Achievement City crypt, and that you will be deeply missed by your good friends Edgar the Chicken and Richard Fist.
I would say he should be buried next to the Tower of Pimps. That is what I think.
Well, I mean,
Well,
which one? I mean, they
changes.
constantly move it.
That's true.
And there's like 1,000 of them in
I
that
guess
world.
Ryan's in front of Ryan's. When's the last time Ryan put it in front of the anywhere? Does he put it up in front of the Kung Fu house? I can't remember.
Yeah.
Nah, they should just turn Caleb's house into the Achievement Hunter crypt.
Oh yeah, Caleb's house.
The pool
the
of water.
4x4 of water.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we're at about a minute, and I say this every time.
Shit.
An hour
Yeah,
and 15 minutes.
Every day we just gather together for a minute long.
I always say a minute long. Like, really? Is that bad? Am I that bad about it?
Super quick, and you just need to you speed up our voices. I'm
Just
slow
to
down
think,
our voices.
You're thinking back into audio stuff, so
Yeah,
say the word hour.
I've been thinking about this lately. Ever since I got out of radio a few years ago, broadcasting in general, I've done some little stuff on the side here and there. But I think it's not going to be a full-time job. But I think I'm going to give it a go. A little voice acting. I kind of got the ball started a few years ago, and then I just stopped. I think at this point, my goal will be to just do some free stuff to increase my portfolio, my demo. So if anybody's listening and they just want some general voice work done, just let me know. I'm going to be reconfiguring my home studio to make it sound better, and But in the
That'd be
meantime,
awesome.
just let me know if anybody listening. Just message me, Twitter at FinFangFark, Mr. Fusion on the Rooster Teeth website. I'll do just general stuff for free, and then eventually once
What a
the
coincidence!
money starts
I'm
rolling in,
actually,
what's up?
I've actually just started writing up a script for a machinima series that I eventually want to get filmed and aired, and like I might need a voice actor. So what a coincidence!
Okay, well then that's
Voice
perfect.
acting is something that
Well,
even though I don't actually know how well I would do because I've never actually tried to voice act. I've been doing this, but this isn't quite the same.
No, it's not.
So I'd like to try that someday. Just
Well,
to be
and
a
I'll be honest
character,
with you,
even if it was just a background, whatever character, it'd be
even
cool.
voiceover is very different than voice acting. I mean, it's acting as I mean, it's just acting, and I don't know if any. I went to the Rooster Teeth, the RTX voiceover panel, and it was great because it's very informative stuff that I already knew about, but. Basically, it's you know people think that it's all voice work. Voice work is just doing voice work in general. It means doing voiceovers, all that, and acting. I did voiceover work and I tried to get involved in voice acting, and I didn't. But at this point, I'm going to go ahead and try to do both again. So if it's voiceovers or voice acting, just let me know.
yeah, like
And I'll be glad to give it a shot, read scripts, and see if my voice fits any characters. And like I said early on, I'll do it for free, so no problem.
yeah. I will say one last thing before we go. I have noticed that like difference between voice acting and voiceovers, because when you're doing a voiceover on a video game, you're just being yourself basically.
Yeah.
When you're voice acting for a character in like a machine, like say for a machinima or something like that, it's a lot different. You need to have you need to create a character through the voice as well.
Yeah.
Like I've gotten to that stage where
Mm-hmm.
I can.
You have
do
to
voiceovers
convey
pretty
tone and
decently, but I
attitude and all
can't-
that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's one of the things. It's like with when I've tried to do I try to do like voice acting from time to time just to try and I do practice. I do practice to try and see if I can do voice acting, but if it doesn't work out for me, it just doesn't work out for me. But if I do a machinima, I will do my own voice.
It's funny because I've been trying to voice act for a while just because like the video game we're developing. It's like I don't like hiring outside people very often unless I really need to. So a lot of the voices are our voices. And
boy.
I think right now I'm 3 to 4 characters. So, you know.
Well, like I said, if you need somebody just to be as a background character or something, or a different voice, just let me know. And,
Oh yeah,
I mean, it's just
that
something
sort
to
of
put
thing.
it out
Yeah,
there.
I could definitely do. Or definitely attempt. Especially if I had a better mic than the one I'm using. I mean, this is a really good mic, but for something like what you would be requiring, it need to be a higher quality.
Well, you have to get a really good condenser microphone and a spit screen on top of it. That's because it has to come off a completely different. The P's can't pop like they do with our headsets, and that's the main thing. So that the reason why is they can edit them better, because if you get a popping P, which I keep saying like that, but that sound effect, that popcorn sound, they can't they can't change your voice track too much. They can't modify it, and you'll still hear that muffled P sound. So that's why you have to have a filter screen on top of the microphone when you're doing.
I've seen that like in podcast sets they use the pop filters.
Well, and I think with like a podcast, it kind of takes away from the real feel of them. So when we talk here, as long as somebody's on a headset always on the podcast, I have no problem with it. With that popping sound, because it's just a natural. That's how people talk. You've gotten so used to it, you don't register it when you hear it. But when you're listening to cuts of audio and things like that, you can pick up on that stuff a lot stronger.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Well, I think at this point, folks, we've been talking for an hour and 20 minutes, so it's a good time to stop. Any last comments from everyone?
Yes, I will say one thing.
Yes.
I found this. I will sound this. I found this awesome adaptation. You know the animated adventures that Jordan makes?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, the
Okay, I just put a
Achievement
link
Hunter
in the
animated?
link dump. Yeah. This guy, I don't know whether he's on the side, and if he hears this, you're freaking awesome. Watch that. It is the best. It is one of the funniest, funniest things I have seen
Which
in
one
a
is this? Is
long
this
time.
is
Tuxedo
this
It's
Mob?
a, like,
Tuxedo Mob?
It's a, no, not Tuxedo Mob. He does good things as well. But this guy, his YouTube is called Funny Mayhem, and he just animates the Rage Quit. I strongly suggest just type in Rage Quit animated and then
Oh,
Tura.
wow, there's
So-
a Rage Quit anime.
Oh my god.
I might have to start up a new group for that. That's interesting.
Yeah, but seriously, I'm not even joking. It is amazing, and it is as funny. It is as
Whoa.
funny as anything I've recently seen. So,
All right,
yeah.
Wes, any closing comments?
Again, penis. Might throw a cunt in there. You know, that's about it.
All the dicks.
Ray, you've been auspiciously quiet this evening. Anything you would like to say in closing?
Not really.
Right.
Oh, Ray.
Wow, talk about a letdown. Yeah, not really. No.
Ray, we love you.
Chaos.
I love you. David's a cutie pie.
Email us questions.
Okay, yeah. Questions, comments, complaints, and general trolling can go to
Can be
the
going.
forum thread at yahoo.com. The live feed is always twitch.tv/the forum thread, and at YouTube, you can subscribe to the forum thread podcast. And I think eventually we'll do some more stuff, like some Let's Plays or some other things
Yeah.
we'll try to squeeze in here and
There are a
there.
couple
About
of
the
Let's
Let's
Plays. up there.
Plays, I just finally got around to releasing the second part of our LOL Let's Play. And the third
Finally,
one
part
is
Oh,
two.
yeah.
scheduled for
Okay.
soon. And
Hell, Fusion, maybe you and me can get together sometime to do DayZ.
also
Yeah,
plan on-
you
I
know,
also plan
I've
on
been playing a lot of Halo and Mass Effect. I bought that trilogy pack, and I'm going to finish that off, and then I think I want to jump back onto DayZ just because it's a good little release to where you're not obligated to nonstop action. So I like playing it every now and then. But okay, well, folks, it's been great. Thank you for joining us.